At 2:17 a.m., your encrypted phone vibrates. Not once, not twice, 7 times, 7 different countries, 7 different bosses, all waiting for the same thing, your approval. A single tap from you can move $50 million across borders before sunrise. No guns, no drugs, no fingerprints, just numbers on a screen. And if you hesitate for even 10 seconds, men with rifles start asking questions. This isn't a game. This isn't a movie. This is your life. Point of view. You are the secret banker funding every cartel. You don't run drugs. You don't cross borders. You don't wear gold chains or sit in flashy compounds. You wear tailored suits, sit in glass offices, and shake hands with politicians. On paper, you are a private financial consultant. In reality, you are the invisible bloodstream of the underworld. Every cartel boss, from the mountains of Mexico to the ports of Europe, depends on you. They fight for territory. You control survival. Before we go deeper, make sure you hit like and subscribe to Hidden Throne Point of View. If you enjoy intense first-person stories like this, you're in the right place. Every week, we drop new point of view episodes that pull you straight into power, danger, and impossible choices. Now, let's continue, because your phone just buzzed again. You built this empire quietly. Years ago, you worked at a respected international bank. You were the guy who understood regulations, offshore structures, shell corporations, and the small loopholes hidden inside massive legal documents. While others chased promotions, you studied how money truly moves. Not the clean version, the real version. You learned how to layer transactions through tax havens, how to split 100 million into 5,000 smaller wires that look harmless, how to build companies that exist on paper but nowhere else. The first cartel approached you through a middleman. They didn't threaten you, they offered you a problem. "We have cash," they said. Too much of it, billions in physical currency stacked in warehouses, impossible to spend without raising alarms. They needed someone who could turn dirty paper into invisible digital assets. You didn't say yes immediately. You calculated, risk versus reward. And when you finally agreed, you did it on your terms. You never meet bosses in person. You never visit their territory. All communication goes through encrypted channels and trusted lawyers who don't ask questions. Your protection is distance. Your weapon is knowledge. If any one cartel betrays you, you have enough information to bring down all of them. And they know it. Your system is genius in its simplicity. Step 1. Placement. Cash is broken into smaller amounts and moved through businesses that deal heavily in physical currency, nightclubs, construction firms, export companies. Step 2. Layering. Funds bounce through offshore accounts in places known for secrecy. Step 3. Integration. The money returns clean, invested into real estate, tech startups, even political campaigns. By the time authorities look at it, it's untouchable. You don't see violence, but you feel it. When a shipment gets seized, your phone lights up. We need liquidity. When 2 cartels go to war, you're asked to freeze assets for one side. Sometimes they ask you to delay a transfer by hours so they can pressure a rival. You are not holding a gun, but you are pulling triggers with numbers. There are nights you sit alone in your penthouse overlooking the city skyline, wondering how far this will go. You own properties in 3 continents. You have passports from multiple countries. You donate to charities. You attend galas. The world sees you as successful. But behind closed doors, you are balancing billions that don't officially exist. The dangerous part isn't the cartels, it's the governments. Financial intelligence agencies track unusual patterns. Algorithms scan transactions for red flags. You stay ahead by constantly evolving. Cryptocurrency mixers, private equity funds, trade-based money laundering through fake invoices. You adapt faster than regulators can update their software. But then, something changes. One morning, a small transfer, just $480,000, gets flagged. That's nothing compared to the billions you move monthly. But the pattern is different, too precise, too focused. You realize someone is watching you specifically, not the cartels, you. You trace the signal back through layers of monitoring systems and discover a task force quietly forming international cooperation. Financial crime experts, cyber analysts, they don't know everything yet. But they suspect there's a central architect, a ghost in the machine, you. Now every move feels heavier. Every transfer could be the one that exposes the network. Cartel bosses start hearing rumors of investigations. They call you more often. They ask harder questions. Are we safe? They demand. You assure them everything is under control, because if they believe you're losing control, you won't live long enough to fix it. So you create a contingency plan. You build a digital dead man switch. If you disappear, encrypted files automatically send to investigative journalists and rival organizations. Files containing transaction histories, names, offshore entities, even private communications. It's your insurance policy. The cartels know you're too valuable to kill, but now they know killing you would destroy them too. Weeks pass. Pressure rises. One cartel leader demands priority access to funds for a massive expansion. Another threatens to move to a different banker if you don't lower your percentage. You realize something dangerous. They are becoming confident, comfortable. They're forgetting who designed the system. You remind them. One afternoon, you quietly freeze accounts tied to a powerful faction for exactly 6 hours. Just long enough for them to feel panic. Shipments stall, payments fail, tension spreads. Then you release the funds with a short encrypted message, system maintenance complete. No threats, no anger, just a demonstration of control. They never question you again. But the task force keeps closing in. A former associate from your banking days gets arrested for unrelated fraud. Under pressure, he mentions your name, not knowing the full truth, just hinting at your unusual offshore expertise. That's enough. Investigators dig deeper. You consider disappearing. You already have an island property under a different identity. Funds stored in cold wallets, safe houses prepared. You could vanish tonight. But walking away means leaving billions exposed. If authorities seize accounts suddenly, the cartels will assume betrayal. War would follow. Blood would spill. And even if you're hiding on a beach somewhere, they would hunt you. You decide to do something no one expects. You start slowly shifting operations. Instead of concentrating flows through a few trusted hubs, you decentralize everything, smaller networks. Independent financial architects in different regions who don't know about each other. You become less visible, less central. The system no longer depends fully on you. On paper, your role shrinks. The task force notices activity changing. They can't find a single mastermind anymore, just fragments. Suspicion spreads thin, resources get redirected, attention fades slightly. But here's the twist. You're not doing this for them. You're doing it for yourself. Because when you're no longer the only secret banker funding every cartel, you become replaceable. And being irreplaceable is what made you powerful, but also what made you a target. Now you operate as a consultant rather than the core engine. Less profit, less exposure, more control over your own exit. Years pass. Violence continues in distant lands, but your involvement becomes quieter. You invest more into legitimate ventures, renewable energy, technology funds, infrastructure. Slowly, your clean empire overtakes the dirty one. One evening, you sit in your office as news breaks about a major cartel collapse. Leaders arrested, assets frozen. You recognize some of the structures, they were once yours. But you had already disconnected from them months earlier. The task force celebrates a victory. They never say your name. They never knew how close they were. Your phone no longer vibrates at 2:17 a.m. Instead, it buzzes with invitations to conferences, investment opportunities, charity boards. The world believes you are just another wealthy financier who made smart decisions. No one sees the shadows you once managed, but sometimes, late at night, You scroll through old encrypted files stored in secure drives, a reminder of who you were, of the power you held, of the lives indirectly shaped by your approvals. You realize something chilling. The real throne was never in the mountains with armed guards. It was behind a desk, behind a password, behind a calm voice saying, "Transfer approved." And that's the truth about power. It's rarely loud, it doesn't shout, it whispers and moves markets. So here's the question. If you had the chance to control billions from the shadows, no spotlight, no fame, just absolute influence, would you take it? Or would the risk eat you alive? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know what you would do in this position. And if this story pulled you in, share it with someone who loves high-stakes power stories. This is Hidden Throne Point of View, where you don't just watch power, you become it.